Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading for the week or the month of. I've been doing that every single reading today for some reason, but for the month of August 2022, we're just going to see what is going on for you at this time. I'm pretty sure that you had this card last week in the weekly reading for like the week of whatever last week was, the week before the week of the 25th. I can't do math, so don't ask. But you have this Treasure Island card, and I'm pretty sure it was you that had that card. I could be wrong, but let's see what's going on here. This actually looks pretty good. You start off with this card that says miracles on it, so clearly there could be some miracles coming in for you. I dropped this. There are some reversals in this deck because I dropped it. I think it was in your video that I dropped it in as well, so you probably all saw me drop it. But you have this Rainbow Waterfall card. It says miracles on it, so I do feel there are some miracles coming in for you here. I feel this miracle, it looks like it's going to come in on the back of some sort of conclusion or releasing of something. I'm pretty sure I said something to you like that last week as well. But you have this full moon eclipse card, which says conclusions are within reach. There you go. So it looks like, these miracles are coming in because something is ending in your life. But I feel like this is something you've been hoping would end anyway, so it doesn't really feel like that big of a deal to me. You have the Four of Wands, the Lovers, and the Queen of Cups here. Four of Wands is a card of marriage, but it's also a card of freedom and just feeling like you have the freedom to choose your life as you want it to be, make the choices that you want to make, like all those things. These people are celebrating on the other side of this Four of Wands. So it's kind of like they've already been married. They're already having the celebration. But really, you want to go through this portal. You want to go celebrate with those people. So I really feel that you need to make the choice to have these celebrations that you could be having. And again, it could be in love with the Lovers. So I do feel something about love here. And I'm pretty sure you're the only sign this week that has had a major, what I would consider a more love-focused reading. I wouldn't even call it a major love reading, but I would say it's a little bit more focused in that direction. And it could be with a fire sign or a fellow air sign as well. You also have water, but it could be, really fire and air kind of stand out to me in your reading. It could be any sign, take it how it resonates, but I feel like some of you have a kind of a choice to make in the sense that it's kind of saying do you want love in your life or not? And I feel like you had a similar reading last week. If you're not looking for love, the Lovers can just be you being at a crossroads. Although, again, like I said to you last week, I feel like you've already made a decision. If you remember, for a long time, your readings have been about making a choice or making a decision. I feel like you've finally made your choice. But it could be in any area of your life. You have the Queen of Cups as well. The Queen of Cups is all about how you feel about things. And again, this has come up for everyone. I think that Cancer Moon we had a couple weeks ago was super powerful. And that Cancer Moon was all about our feelings and how we feel about things, how we feel about the things that we want in our life. And it doesn't really, I think the more, it's kind of harder to say what I want to say because, I don't know, I'm just bad with words. But, it's one of those things where I think for a lot of signs, that moon was really highlighting the part of Neptune and Pisces, which is there might be some things that you think nobody cares about, but maybe if you did it, they would care about it. It's and what the hell am I talking about? It's I don't know, maybe you want to study ants for the rest of your life. Most people might be saying, ants are useless, ants are tiny little bugs, but you never know. You might start some YouTube channel about ants and become super successful because of it. Right? You never know. But it's for you, That's kind of like Neptune and Pisces. Neptune and Pisces is we could have some sort of crazy pipe dream, something that seems like a pipe dream, but it could actually make us a billionaire, ant keeper. I don't know. If it was ever possible, it'd be under Neptune and Pisces. But again, we have to trust our feelings, Queen of Cups, to make it happen. That's the problem with Neptune and Pisces is our feelings are saying, do it. But your parents or, people in your life are probably saying, are you freaking crazy? Right? So it's you have to weigh the two options, basically. You have the conclusions are within reach card, says full moon eclipse. And you also have this elk spirit as well. I kind of get this feeling of a person making a decision in your life that also makes your life a little bit easier as well. You know, it kind of reminds me of a story. I had a buddy, and he was like renting this space for like a long time, but he got to a point where he didn't want to rent this space any longer, and he was all super paranoid and all worried to tell his landlord that he like wanted to leave the space, right? But he finally told his landlord, "Hey, I want to leave the space." And the landlord was like, "Oh, thank God." He's like, "You know, I have a friend that like really wanted this space, and I've been telling them that they couldn't have it." It was like no big deal. He's like making like a big deal out of something that wasn't a big deal, and his landlord was super grateful. That's what I'm getting here, which is weird. I almost feel like a person could be approaching you, or you know, there could be like kind of like one of those situations where it's like maybe you're a little bit worried to tell a person something, or you're a little bit, or maybe you've been waiting to make a decision about something, but it's almost like someone is doing it for you, if that makes sense. And that's the feeling that I get off these two cards. And I feel like it creates a conclusion, but like a positive conclusion, like a conclusion that you're super happy about. So I feel that for you. This elk here, this elk spirit is all about taking the lead. And you have several cards here that really represent like kind of taking the lead in your own personal life. You have the Six of Wands, King of Wands, King of Swords even as well. Could also represent taking the lead. You're not, a bunch of signs have had messages of really needing to take the lead this week. You have the Six of Wands, the Four of Swords, the Four of Cups, and the Five of Pentacles here. Six of Wands is a card of success, and it's also a card of excellence as well. It represents kind of rising to the top. You can see that if it wants to focus, he's the only one that's on the horses. All those people are cheering him on. So I feel there's a lot of success for you. I feel that, you know, things have been the same for a while for you here, Aquarius. Four of Pentacles is holding on too tightly to the past. Four of Swords is kind of like a card of taking a break, resting, relaxing, recovering, meditating. But really, he's hoping and praying for blessings here. If I can figure out where to put my finger, right here. So I feel in a lot of ways, things have been the same for a very long time. You even have the Five of Pentacles, which also has a stained glass window on it right here. But Five of Pentacles, like being left out in the cold, is also a card of poverty as well. I feel like for some of you, it's like something turned sour. You know, those are the words that are popping into my head. Where it's like you thought you were going to have something, and then something turned sour. I don't know. I'm gonna, if I'm being honest with you, I'm not getting anything else on that. So we're gonna come through and clarify in just a minute, and we're gonna figure out maybe what turned, you know, what kind of turned sour in your life. I feel like it's maybe an idea of like an idea that you had or a direction that you went in. But again, we'll figure it out in a minute. Next, you have the Treasure Island card. Again, the Treasure Island card is like as above, so below in this deck. Kind of represents creating your own reality or manifesting the things that you desire to have in your life. So I kind of feel like your dreams are starting to come true. You have the King of Wands, the Knight of Swords, and the King of Swords. The King of Wands, I feel, is like the energy that you're about to be embracing. This is your future position. So it's kind of like something that you're stepping into. And the King of Wands, he's super kind of motivated. He is very focused, and he wants to be successful. He's also like the entrepreneur of the tarot. So if you have a business or if you're working on a business, I kind of feel a lot of success coming in for you with that King of Wands. The Knight of Swords, I feel like is saying take your time, don't rush here. You know, especially if you're rushing towards something that you value with that lovers. I feel there's a decision coming in for you. I almost feel like a person could be coming in and, you know, talking to you about making a decision, or you could be talking to them. And I kind of feel this is saying take your time on this, on this venture. Those are the words that are kind of popping into my head. Again, I feel something went sour, and I feel that you maybe, I wouldn't really call it a second chance reading, but I kind of feel like because something went sour, you could be attracting something really good into your life. And this is like saying, make sure you don't rush it, right? The Knight of Swords, he is stressing that horse out. That horse looks stressed. So it kind of says, don't rush things. I feel like you need to use your knowledge and wisdom with the King of Swords. The King of Swords, he kind of knows timing. He has good discernment, right? He is the card of discernment. He is the card of knowing when to do what when. Or knowing like what actions to take when. So I kind of feel like this is saying take your time so that these miracles can kind of be created in your life. Let's see where this is going for you here. Aquarius, let's see. With the Four of Wands, you have the Three of Wands. What are you waiting for? I feel like there's a doorway opening up with that Four of Wands. Could be like an opportunity or like a miracle, something that you've been asking for. And I feel like this is saying like step through the doorway, don't necessarily second guess it with that Three of Wands. So I do feel there's a need to kind of like get moving here. With the Lovers, you have the Six of Cups. Pretty sure you had the Six of Cups with me last week. I'm pretty sure you also had the Wheel of Fortune in your last reading with me as well. Some of you could be dealing with a past person. Again, I don't do X-Back readings. Take it how it resonates. So, again, if you're thinking about leaving a comment about how you won't go back to your, peanut head ex, trust me, I fully support your decision not to. But, if you're in a situationship or if you're in something, I don't know. I'd say as long as it's positive, more power to you is what I'll say here. But if you're dealing with someone from the past, again, I feel like this is saying don't rush it. Take your time. Make sure to, kind of think it through. And I think if you do all those things, miracles, this miracle card. So clearly good things will happen. But I do feel there's a need to take your time. For the rest of you, if you've been bumping up against obstacles, Six of Cups, it's funny, Lovers is a crossroads card. That Six of Cups to me is a card of like a turnaround in the sense that it can represent a gift from the universe. And the gift we receive from the Six of Cups is forward momentum, forward progress, maybe in an area of our life where there have been blockages. So it's kind of like a remover of blockages as far as a gift is concerned. With the Queen of Cups, you have the Six of Wands. Your emotions are what is going to lead you to victory is really what I feel like this is saying. I love two sixes on top of each other as well. Two sixes to me is like kind of just confirmation for your path. Two sixes to me is like just going straight down a path. So I feel you're on the right path at this time, especially your thoughts and your emotions. With the Six of Wands, you have here you go. You have the Judgment card. Waking up. I feel like you are waking up to the answers, kind of like the answers that you need, or it's almost like you're waking up to the correct answers. I don't think there are any wrong or right answers in life, period. But I almost feel like you're waking up to your true purpose here. With the Four of Swords and the Four of Pentacles, you have the Ten of Swords. Yeah, this is like the death of the past. Things are changing very significantly in your life. Part of me feels like saying the word mindset as well. I'll just tell you, I'm very focused on I'm very focused on this guy's horn or his antlers on his head on this elk card. And in a lot of those Animal Speaks by Ted Andrews, or there's the Animal Dream book as well. I can't remember the name of that one. Antlers kind of represent like a connection, or they kind of represent like a radio antenna tuning in. But I feel like you are very tuned into positivity, and maybe in the past few months you've been, more tuned into the negative side of things. We all go through, these cycles in life where, I'm sure you've all experienced it. Moments where you're negative, moments where you're positive. It's just being a human, right? But I kind of feel you're like a little bit more tuned into the positive side, which is a good thing. And I would encourage you to keep doing like whatever you're doing to stay more positive, to be more positive. I feel like it's literally creating more positive energy in your life. With the Five of Pentacles, here you go. You have the Chariot. Definitely a victory coming in for you. I also feel there could be like surprise travel in the future. And what I mean by surprise travel is it's like maybe you just don't think you're going to travel right now, but you are. Excuse me. In the future, don't get COVID. If you do. Maybe you are saying, I don't have the money to travel. I feel there could be money coming in for you that's going to allow you to travel. Like I was saying, I kind of get one of those moments with those top two cards, like I was telling you the story about my buddy's, landlord, the place that he had. But I was kind of getting like, I don't want to call it serendipity, because it's not like, I don't think these are necessarily magical moments, but I feel like there are just some moments that could be happening for you this month that really kind of like open up these, gateways like that Four of Wands. With the King of Wands, here you go. You have the Star, healing, resting, relaxing, recovering. I feel you're more able to see the big picture as well. I almost feel that your vision is expanding. Like maybe you've been seeing things through like a pinhole. I feel that's how you feel. And like you've only been seeing like a tiny little, like you're looking through a tiny little hole when you imagine your future life. I get a great expansion on that Star card. There's this ibis that is sitting in the tree above my finger here. And it's going to be really hard to see on these tiny cards. I'm going to have my setup in a couple of days here, finally. So, hopefully soon I'll have everything set up and I won't have to, do this. But, I kind of see this expansion where it's like you're going from this tiny little, seeing through this tiny little hole to seeing the full picture. It's kind of like your vision for your life is expanding. For some of you, maybe this could also be your ideas that are expanding as well. It's like maybe you saw your business as just a tiny little dot, but it's something that's expanding. And I kind of feel this in, it's going to be different for all of you because I'm reading for like a billion of you. But I would say that if you have a business, maybe it's been a side hustle, but maybe now you're turning it into a full-time business. That's what I mean by, the little dot into something much bigger. Same thing with a relationship. Maybe you had a person who was like a friends with benefits, and maybe now you're like, oh my God, this is my person. It's like I see that type of expansion here. And that is your card, by the way. With the Knight of Swords, you have the Nine of Wands. Almost every single person this week has had the Nine of Wands. Nine of Wands is my card of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. I don't know. I just think it's a really good time for, experimentation. If you've ever wanted to make something successful, and if there was ever a time where just trying anything was a good idea, I would say it's right now. Probably like maybe 100, maybe 99 of your ideas aren't going to be good, but the one idea that does work is going to be so successful that's totally worth it. I always tell people, like, not to toot my own horn here, but it's like I literally do this. Like, look at my channel. I'm constantly making changes. It drives some people crazy, but it's like, there's a reason that I do it. And if you just look at my channel growth, I think that it speaks for itself. So it's like I would definitely encourage you to experiment and try new things and throw stuff at the wall and see what works in all areas of your life. With the King of Swords, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Again, almost every single person has had the Wheel of Fortune as well. I'm over halfway through these readings, and pretty much everybody's had it. So really nice. Fortune's turning in your favor. Again, could be a person coming back from the past. Although, what I would say, and you have several cards that represent this. You have all my cards. The Six of Cups, the Judgment card, and the Wheel of Fortune. I personally don't consider the Six of Cups to be a person coming back from the past, but the other two, I do. So for some of you, that is definitely possible, but for the most part, like I said, everybody's had the Wheel of Fortune, I'm pretty sure, this month. And to me, it just could say that this could be a turnaround month where things are improving or there are some improvements going on. So this looks really good here, Aquarius. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your Sun, Moon, and Rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your week.